Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Miniart. It's a kit in 135 scale and it's part of Waldor 2 military miniature series, so it copies German tractor D8506, but this time we get a tractor, trailer and crew. So while previous release was featuring the tractor and trailer only, and it was open version as far as I remember, so this time we get the tractor with roof, we get trailer, and we get also figures which will be placed in the trailer. And this is a commercial sample, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you will see in this video review, so it will be interesting to check what is actually included here. So first of all, I have to note that box size is exactly the same as what you're used to see, let's say, from Miniart kits. And by the way, here we have a bit of information. So there are 11 figures included, and we also, just give me a second. Yeah, 11 figures, P parts, decals, and also markings for 2 options. By the way, here you can see another one, so it's a winter version. And here we have also some safety advices, address of the manufacturer, but this is also typical stuff. This is a top opening box, and here's what we have inside. So everything is packed into the same plastic bag, it's sealed inside. And here we have also assembly manual. So first of all, I would like to open this plastic bag with parts, of course. And as usual, we will start with parts, and then gradually we will move on to the assembly manual, which will show us how to assemble this kit. But in case you've seen our previous reviews, you should know that this kit is not that difficult to assemble, and actually this is, let's say, one of few Miniart kits which I can even advise or suggest to beginners, because it's not that difficult as it could be, and still it packs quite impressive details out of the box. So here we have a small plastic bag with decals and also with clear sprue. It is also sealed, so that's why I'm going to cut through in order to see what is actually included here, so just give me a second. So here we have decal sheet from Decograph. Let's zoom in. Here it is. And printing quality seems to be nice, so it's just a matter of careful application and you will be good to go. And as I said before, there is also a clear sprue, so here it is. Also here we have lenses for headlamps and taillights. We have a glass for the cab, but frankly speaking I'm not sure where it will be installed, so we will have to check the assembly manual. And as usual, there are no masks included, so in case you would like to cover these parts, you will have to cut everything with your own hands. Here I am showing the Miniart envelope, which is usually used for PE parts, and this kit is not an exclusion from such rules. So we have really small PE thread, but still it will be handy for fine features on your tractor. As you can see, there are really tiny parts, so be ready to work with tweezers, because otherwise it will be really difficult to get them into the right spot. Next, we won't zoom out, because here we have quite interesting figure parts. So we start with gray plastic sprues, and I would say that these guys are somewhat standard for 135 scale figures from Miniart, so you can expect one-piece torso, one-piece head, separate helmets, pre-shaped positions. And just to remind you, we have 11 figures out of the box, so that's really cool. And of course you do not have to use them all at once, so maybe some of these guys will stay in your spare parts boxes for some future projects, who knows. But the final decision, of course, will be up to you. And here we continue with 4 more figures. So I guess here we can zoom in a bit so that you can see these figures closer. Again, pretty much the same design, so you can expect quite nice treatment, but there are no guiding pins, so be sure to, let's say, try everything before gluing into the place. And here we continue with 2 more figure sprues. So here is the first guy, and here we have the second one. So I'm not sure why they're supplied on the separate sprues, but here we can zoom in even closer. And you can see that they are pretty much the same in terms of quality as the previous figures we saw, so it's just a matter of careful assembly and you'll be good to go. Next we proceed also with various accessories. So these ones were not mentioned in the box description, but still we get them out of the box. So for example, here you can see grenades, which will be handy for figures, and I guess you can also place them in the trailer. Of course, it's a welcome addition which will bring more visual interest, let's say, to the kit. Next we proceed with a box. So this one is ammo box, and here quite interesting thing is that we have the wooden texture out of the box, so it's just a matter of playing with paints and you will get quite an interesting finish. And note also these guiding elements, which will be useful as well. Next we continue with more boxes. So these ones are supplied in a slightly wider sprue, so maybe I will zoom out a bit so that you can see whole frame. And again, molding quality seems to be fine. I don't see any possible problems. Note that here we have pre-molded grenades into one part, so you won't have to deal with separate parts. And here you can check them from the opposite side. The only tricky part which I can expect in such design is that you have to somehow paint all these things, but I don't think it will be difficult. It will just take a bit of your time. Next we proceed with one more plastic sprue. Here we have various equipment for soldiers, so we have weapons, we have also various equipment parts such as bags and also pouches. And that's really cool that all this stuff comes as a standard package. And again, I'll remind you that you don't have to use everything at once, so maybe some of these parts will stay in your spare parts box and you can use them for the later builds. And this is also quite a wise idea because, I mean, these parts look good and they will be handy in every situation. Next we continue with two more identical plastic sprues, so just give me a second. I just need to understand. So previous spruce is supplied in two pieces. Here is the second one, the same as this one. So here we have also two frames, and these ones, this frame, this type actually includes various equipment again. So here we have helmets, also we have shovels, pouches, bags, and even daggers here. So everything looks cool. If I flip it over here, you can see that parts are designed from both sides, and here you can take a closer look at what is actually molded inside the helmet. So they're not empty inside, and that's really cool because it adds some fine touch to the overall appearance of this stuff. And next we proceed with tractor parts. So we are going to start with this sprue. Here you can see various parts for the driver's seat, for example. We also have parts for the bonnet, and molding quality seems to be nice. I don't think that it will be a really difficult task to combine all these things together, but still be careful while joining them. Next we proceed with parts for the closed version of the tractor. So here we have the front panel with the cutout for the windscreen. We have also wheel fenders, that's the roof panel. And here we have rear wheel fenders, which are also molded together with these brackets. So it's quite an interesting design, and be sure to cut it in the right shape, because I saw some modders accidentally cutting this spars, and then obviously you get a broken part. By the way, note that each part, if it should feature some thing inside, some details inside, it actually features them. For example, this roof, so it's not just a plain part. And note that we do not have any push marks there, so that's a really cool thing, and it will speed up the assembly process because you won't have to deal with such minor problems which we are used to see in this type of parts. Next we proceed with wheels, and here, well, I would rather choose this pair of sprues, and then we will move on to wheels. So here we have parts for the trailer. These are actually wooden panels which will be used for the trailer. We can zoom in a bit. Note that they're more or less plain, even though this should be wooden panels, still they're plain. So it might be a good idea to play with some weathering ideas maybe, in order to get a bit more convincing appearance. Next we proceed with slightly wider plastic sprue. Again, it is concerned with parts for the tractor itself. So we can zoom in back. Here we have exhaust tube, we also have some suspension parts, and some of them are really thin, so be sure not to break any of this, because as we all know, the thin parts from a Miniart, they are quite tender, so it is better to be extra careful with them. By the way, this 4-panel looks good, and of course it deserves some maybe weathering imitated there, maybe some scratches, maybe something else, because it's good to bring out the texture. From the opposite side you'll find some guiding elements, which is also a good thing, which will speed up the assembly process. Next, we have another wide plastic sprue, so this one is even wider. I'm not sure why it is molded like this, why they're not molded on one frame only. Maybe it is dependent on the tractor type, so with such, let's say, sprues layout, it's easier to divide into several boxes, who know. Here you can see the bonnet panels. We have also some control elements and some parts for the drivetrain, so also steering wheel here, and everything is molded in a quite clean, I would say, way, so even the thinnest parts do not have any flash on them, so it's just a matter of cutting them off. And as usual, I suggest to use the plastic saw for this operation, because otherwise you end up with quite funny consequences, let's say. Next, we proceed with parts for road wheels. So they're supplied on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plastic sprues. Of course, I will show you only one, because there is no need to show the same stuff again and again. So some of these road wheels are supplied for the tractor, some for the trailer. Here you can see the main difference between them. Maybe I'll place them like this. And that's really cool that we do not have any vinyl tires here. We have actual plastic parts, which should be easier to paint and weather. They should be assembled out of all these circles. And of course we have guiding elements inside, so it won't be such a difficult task. And again, I'm happy that Miniart does not use the vinyl parts, because I mean, that's already 2021 outside, so it's strange to see vinyl parts in some kits, while the plastic molding technology is so advanced. Next, we have another perfect example how advanced is the plastic molding technology. Here you can see the rear wheels. So these two are actually the side walls. So you can see we have quite nice features here. And inside we have, let's say, these angles. They are repeating the tire pattern. And the actual tire is supplied as a one-piece part, so as you can see, again, we are touching the same topic. So the molding technology lets you to mold such part as a single piece element with separate sidewalls, and actually you won't see that it is assembled out of 3 parts, because it is designed in such way to repeat the actual tire, so that's really cool. And next we proceed with 2 white plastic sprues, and they're of the same type, but note that this one is also connected with this sprue, so I will show you this pair instead. Here we have parts for the trailer, as one can guess, and I don't think the trailer will be difficult to assemble. And once I zoom into these wooden panels, you can notice that we have the wooden texture. That's also quite important feature, which will be noticeable in 1/35 scale, so don't underestimate it, let's say. And here, by the way, you can see also some suspension parts, which are also decent looking and just demand some careful painting for even better appearance. Okay, so now we can move on to the assembly manual. Here it is, and maybe I will close the lenses so that it won't be that bright, and we can also zoom out. So here you can see that manual comes in a standard form. It's a color printed brochure. Here we have first marking option for the tractor and trailer. It's a winter, let's say, camouflage of this tractor. Quite an interesting thing, because here you can play with dirt and weathered winter paint. It's also quite an interesting finish. Or you can go for this camouflage which was on the box art. So here you'll be able to play maybe with some dirt, scratches or something else. It's up to you, but just to remind you, we have only 2 marking options in this kit. And maybe you can also search for some reference photos. Maybe you'll find some different camouflage to replicate. It will be up to you. Here we can see the parts map. So parts map is supplied in a standard form, so we do not have any unused parts marked here. Assembly process starts with a drivetrain, so you have to combine large parts together. That's why it won't be difficult, but you will be working with PE parts straight away. So be ready for that. Here, for example, you can see some PE parts going onto this sub-assembly. Next, we proceed with various control elements and we assemble the bonnet. So the engine is not visible here because, as you can see, this bonnet is assembled as a separate sub-assembly, and again we are using the P parts on the front section. Then we start working on the driver compartment. It will be quite detailed, so that's why I was recommending to play with some weathering and maybe exposing it somehow. Next, we proceed also with rear wheel fenders. We install the brake drums. We install the rear bar for attaching the trailer. Here we proceed with wheels. So that's exactly what I was talking about. As you can see, each wheel should be glued out of 5 parts. And next we assemble the front mask. So as far as you can see, there are 2 assembly options. You can replicate the tractor with or without the front mask. It will be up to you. And next we have wheels installed into the right spot. Then we work on the front cab. So there you have to install the clear part. And as far as you can see, it is designed in such way so that you won't have to mask the clear part because it gets inserted into the frame, which can be pre-painted. So that's also quite a good thing to have. Here we continue with more assembly options. So, and frankly speaking, I'm not sure why here we have steering wheel. Here you have to cut off the steering column, so I guess it will be controlled with levers. Then we start assembling the trailer. So this one is quite simple because, as you can see, it's just a matter of assembling panels together, assembling road wheels, and you are good to go. And as far as I remember, there are possible assembly options. They're not shown here, but you can open this sidewalls. Next, we proceed also with German grenades. Okay, so grenades, we all know that it's grenades. We have also marking guide for them, and you can place them into the trailer. Here we continue with figures, and note that marking guides are also provided in colors. That's a really cool thing. And here we have a small, let's say, hint on how to place these guys. But as I said before, you don't have to use all of them at once. But, I mean, 11 figures in a trailer should look quite impressive. So definitely think about it. And here we have summary of the marking options which are included. As you remember, in the beginning we had a bit more detailed marking guides. So this kit should be already available. You can get it in any good model shop. For example, Modelimex should have them for sale for sure. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such a list. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!